Hello my friends. I'm going to share with you today how I'm taking brood from a standard hive and going to put it into a top bar beehive. First, remove a following board out of the top bar beehive. This will aid in constructing the new frame that you're going to build. To do this, we're going to have to manufacture a universal frame that can be used in both the standard hive and into the top bar beehive. What is unusual here is top bar beehives don't typically have frames. They support the comb from a top bar. We're constructing a frame that will fit into a top bar beehive. Using both the following board and a standard frame, I'm going to size my frame that I'm constructing from these two components. Once your stock material is cut to size, you must cut it to length. First thing that you want to do is remove the edge of the material, and that squares it up. It also removes any checking that might have happened during the time the wood is drying. Then mark the length, and then cut it to the proper length. This strip that I just finished making is going to hold the newly constructed frame, and it will be removable so that it makes it universal between the two beehives that we are using. This strip will have to be removed from the frame, and to do this you want to drill a couple holes on either end, and this is so that you can run a screw through this and into the framework that you're going to be suspending. If you are using hardwood to run a screw into, you want to drill a pilot hole so that the screw will not split the wood as it's running in. This top bar will be holding wax foundation, and to do this I'm removing a strip of wood from the underside, similar to the way standard frames hold its foundation. When operating a table saw, make sure that your hand never crosses over top of where the saw blade is turning. Always use a push stick to pass the workpiece across and through the saw blade. This small strip that I just removed will be saved and cut to size and used later in this construction. I'm copying the size of the framework from my following board. The depth of the frame is being noted so that the new frame that we're building will fit into a standard hive. I'm using my bandsaw to cut a number of strips. These strips will then be used to construct the framework. Here I'm using my following board to set the angle to my chop saw. (22.5 degrees). The reference line that I placed on the following board is being used as my reference to mark the length of these framework sticks. This bottom strip is going to be marked and cut and then notched to join the vertical strips. It will also have to have a groove cut into the bottom so that it can hold or support the bottom of the wax foundation when it's into the frame. The angle that I'm cutting, 22.5 degrees, is used on every one of these joints where the sticks join together. Now that all the sticks are cut to length, I then have to miter the ends so that everything mates and fits tightly. Here I'm marking the depth of the notch that I will be cutting. As you mark all of these ends, make sure that you mark out an X to show you where the material is to be removed. Because every one of these ends have to be marked, it's very easy to lose track of which side is remaining and what side gets removed. Most of these measurements can just be eyeballed. The accuracy isn't extremely important. I'm sure the bees won't mind if it's slightly off. Notice when I'm making these cuts, I'm holding the mitered end perpendicular to the table. You can use the running saw blade as a file to clean out corners to make them crisp on the inside. You should note that you never push the workpiece with your finger in line with the saw blade. All the ends are being notched, and then we should be able to assemble. Before assembling, I'm marking the bottom strip where I need a groove cut to facilitate holding the wax foundation. Setting the depth of the saw cut. When cutting small strips on the table saw, use a hold down stick and a push stick. Keep all your fingers away from the blade. Push sticks are sacrificial. You can run your push stick through the saw blade. This saw kerf is wide enough to hold the foundation strip. Apply glue to all the corners and pin nail each one. The foundation retainer strip is being marked and then cut. The two end pieces are going to be removed and saved to give additional support to the framework. When cutting small pieces of wood on the chop saw, use a sacrificial backing strip, and this will support the cut, give a cleaner edge, and the small pieces won't go flying as the cut is removed. These two end pieces are being saved for end supports. They will be notched and glued into place. This foundation strip will not be glued in but pinned so that it could be removed later. The assembled framework ready for the wax foundation. The foundation is laid over the framework and the ends are trimmed to size. Remove the backing paper before you do this. It makes it a lot easier. I'm cutting the bottom edge of this long enough so that it will project down into the bottom keeper strip. Push the foundation into the bottom keeper strip first, then attach it at the top. Straighten the foundation out, make sure that there's no waves into the foundation itself. Hold the top edge of the foundation with this keeper strip. Pressure fit it tight and pin nail it so that it could be removed at a later date. Here is the finished foundation ready to go into the standard hive. Notice the size, it should drop right in. You need to access the bottom of the hive. This is where the brood will be. The queen is working the lower section and in the middle of it. This is where most of the brood will be. I want to place my new foundation or frame in the middle of this brood. I'll come back and check the new frame in a couple weeks. Thanks for watching, my friends. Bye-bye.